Hey guys, welcome to my channel. In this video, from this video onwards, I'm gonna give you the entire course of Splunk. Okay, so please do follow these videos from here. You'll get the entire course of Splunk. Okay, maybe I'm gonna divide a few videos because you cannot do it in one video, right? Entire course. So that is why I'm gonna divide in couple of videos. Please do follow all of them. I'm gonna give you the entire course of Splunk from here. All right, let's start. First thing, see here, introducing the Splunk platform. So let's understand what Splunk platform is, and then we will take it ahead from there. All right, so yeah, introducing the Splunk platform. Splunk is the world's leading operational data intelligence platform. It is used by software developers, site site reliability engineers, DevOps engineers, data scientists, and security professionals and business analysts. Okay, it can parse and index large quantities of unstructured machine data in many cases hundreds of terabytes data per day. Okay, data is ingested into Splunk using varieties of means, and I find one big advantage being that there is no data source that cannot be ingested into Splunk. Okay, the Splunk platform can help to reduce incidents, improve observability, and shorten MTTR. That means mean time to repair, and reveal deeper insights. Okay, with a little of learning, you will also find Splunk to be a joy to work with. Okay, I have personally uh, interacted with hundreds of Splunk users who love the versatility and richness of the platform. The Splunk platform provides an end-to-end solution to manage your machine data regardless of regardless where it lives or how big it is. Okay, regardless of where it lives or how big it is. In this chapter, okay, I'm going to introduce you to the Splunk platform and get into the problems that it solves. I will show you how Splunk can help organizations of all sizes make effective use of machine data. I will provide an overview of Splunk platform architecture and walk you through various use cases of Splunk. As I said, we're gonna learn entire Splunk course in this, starting from here. Then I'll move on, introduce search processing language. Very, very important. After we understood what Splunk platform is all about, and then we will also move to search processing language, that is SPL language, the language of Splunk platform. I will show you how to navigate to Splunk web interface, which is the primary interface you will be using to run searches. You will be using to run searches. I have Finally, I'll have you run your first SPL query. All right. So this is how we're going to learn in this. What is machine data? Simply started, machine data is the digital exhaust of any computing system. The most common example of the machine data is the log files generated by software applications, but it is not limited to a log files. Machine data includes monitoring metrics, traces, and events. Okay, the figure below shows the four main categories of machine data. We will take a look at each of these categories in more detail. Now, if you see here, machine data will be in the form of events, logs, traces, and metrics. Now, what are events? A change in state or occurrence of something, logs or runtime output of a software program, traces or diagnostic information of software execution, metrics, measurement of a properly at a point in time. All right. So now let's move to the next thing, that is events. Okay. So first we understand the basic stuff like what machine data, what are events, what are different kinds of logs, and then we will go ahead. Now, if I talk about events, events indicate an activity that results in some state change in the system. They are extremely important to understand major changes as the system operates. The way events are stored and retrieved generally varies by the system. A classic example of events can be easily seen by using Windows Events Viewer, a tool that lets a user view events logged by the Windows operating system. A simple Windows event looks like this. Okay, just Windows firewall group policy settings have changed. The new settings have been applied. Initial phase it is when you apply a new changes. And then if you just have a look at here in Splunk, an event is a single piece of indexed data ingested by Splunk is broken into events and stored in the index. But in general, even event data can be structured or semi-structured through it depends on the system that generates the events. Okay, it all depends on that system which generates the events. Now, after events, what are logs? Okay, logs are data generated by software as a byproduct during the operation. Often, logs are used to convey uh, pertinent information about activities happening during runtime. Logs can be very useful to troubleshoot operational issues. Logs can also be used to store audit information in order to be used for security compliance. Logs are generally stored as text files, as text files. Text files. Most industry standard products, such as uh, Apache HTTP server, generates well-known log file formats such as access logs, error logs. However, custom software applications typically have log files that are determined by the application development team. For instance, the log file of an application that runs batch jobs may be called job activity log. This is one of the logs that gets generated by the system. Now, if you see here a simple web access log, okay, you can just see how the log gets generated and how it divided into events, and then it got the data that it got the final data that you're looking for, right? Logs make up the biggest portion of the machine data ecosystem in the organization. They are typically understand typically unstructured, and because of that they are difficult to index. Okay, now after logs we have traces. These are all the initial what do you call, before you start getting into entire course, you should understand the terms first. Like, you have logs, you have machine data, you have indexes, you have events. So these things, if you understand better, it will be easy for you to learn entire course. Now, if I just talk about traces here, traces are diagnostic information produced by a software as it executes. They are extremely valuable for analyzing the end-to-end flow of the transaction. They typically contain information such as contractual data, runtime parameters, and program stack traces. Due to the rich set of the information they contain, traces are often used diagnose complex problems that traverse multiple traverse multiple systems. Okay, traces are generally stored as text files. In software development, a trace can also mean a stock trace, which shows the execution path of a block of the code. Okay, they are useful to pinpoint lines of the code that could be causing an error. Okay, a simple Java stack trace is shown in the below. Okay, it is as following. You can see that a simple Java stack trace. Maybe you can just have a look on this. Okay, I don't think you have to do practice or whatever, but let's see this and understand as we are just starting to understand these terms now. Next thing, if I move to metrics are numeric measurements of property typically collected at a regular time intervals. They can be very useful for monitoring trend analysis. Due to the numerical nature of metrics, they are the easiest and most efficient to ingest. I would go and extend to say that metrics are the gold standard monitoring data. A simple CPU metric is like this. You can say this. All right. Time series nature of the machine data. Okay, you can just have a look of these things. Okay, how it actually works. Time series nature of the machine data, and also the value of the machine data, and how it works when it comes to IT operations. Okay, IT operations and monitoring. All right, this is where we actually, Splunk is going to play a huge role when it comes to monitoring the logs, right? So, and see here, raw error data over a time. Okay, I mean how raw error data gets changes every time over a time over a certain period. Okay, how it gets changed, right? So you can just understand this. Security and SIM. Okay, so this is SIEM. We all know what SIEM is also, and business analytics. How we are going to use this in the business analytics, and uh, the shortcomings of machine data. Okay, and then size of it. I'm not going to go entire stuff. Okay, so I will directly go and start the course, because initial couple of things like indexes and logs, events, these things, machine data, these things are important for us to understand. That's why I was trying to give you a brief on those things. Okay, now I will try and go to a Splunk operational data intelligence, and see here, this is what I'm looking for. I'll go to the actual stuff of Splunk now. What it does, see here what it does basically. Okay, it collect and index the data initial phase, and then search and investigate it, add to the knowledge. After you investigate, you can make a decision out of it, right? So it can add to your knowledge, and then report and visualize whatever you understood, whatever result that you got, right? You need to take it to a next level, right? So that is what report and visualize and monitor and alert. Okay, at the next phase you can do that. Now if you see, in the collect and index function, Splunk offers several ways to receive data from machine data sources. The most common way is using Splunk Universal Folder, which is a piece of software installed on the machine data hosts. There are many other investigation mechanisms, such as Splunk HTTP Event Collector and Splunk DB Connect. The collected data is parsed and indexed in the indexes, which are flat files that consist of raw data and time series indexed files. In search and investigate function, Splunk provides search processing language, that is SPL, to query and index data. With its powerful SQL like Unix pipelines Unix pipe syntax, SPL provides unpredicted flexibility when it comes to the slices and the dicing your machine data. SPL provides more than 140 in addition because of scheme on the read. You are able to manipulate group and correlate data on the fly, right? SPL provides a family of commands, known transforming commands, using which you can generate reports and visualization just with one or two commands. This is absolutely right. We know we have a couple of commands when it comes to uh, SPL, right? Stats, chats, you have time chat, commands like this. So we're going to use all these commands because if you want to get any reports or visualizations, you can get it. In the add knowledge function, Splunk offers a variety of tools such as lookups, field extraction tags, event types, workflow actions, and data models. These tools help you to make sense of your machine in the quickest and most effective way. Okay. Architecture of Splunk platform that you're getting, and you can trace them, you can monitor them, in fact, to get visualizations using Splunk. And then if you see how indexers works, and then how the data goes into the search heads, and you can search and monitor using the with the user basically. Okay, and here you have TCP out and TCP in, because this is where you'll be I mean talking about the ports which you are trying to send. All right, so very important to start with. The following are three major components of Splunk: indexer, searchhead, and forwarder. There you go. Indexer. What is indexer? The indexer is the core Splunk enterprise process which converts raw data into searchable events and store them in indexes. During indexing, the indexer breaks the raw data into events, extracts, timestamp, and few other meta fields, and writes the data to disk. It is also the process that searches and retrieves the indexed data. In Unix system, the indexer process is named Splunk-D. In the distributed environment, the indexer is also called search peer, right? Many indexers are grouped in the cluster, and data is replicated among cluster members. Okay, we will understand everything going forward. Once the data is indexed, it cannot be modified. Note this point. Okay. And what is search head? The search head handles the searches run by users. It is a Splunk enterprise process that employ map reduce architecture. It distributes search results. The map phase of the map reduced to a group of indexes, also known as search peer, where the searches get executed. Searchhead retrieves the search results and merge them, right? The reduce phase of map reduce. Before sending the results back to the user, searchheads can also be grouped in the searchhead cluster. Searchhead clusters provide high availability and load balancing. They also help in the controlling access to the index data. Typically, when you log into the Splunk web interface, you are logging onto the search head. It is possible to have same Splunk D process assume both indexer and search head roles. This setup is common for development lab environments. Okay, this is all common. Now forwarders. The forwarder is a Splunk enterprise software process that collects the data from the machine data host. The most common type of forwarder is Splunk Universal Forwarder, which is typically installed in Linux and Windows operating system based on the configuration. Universal Forwarder collects and sends machine data to indexer on the configuration to indexers. Universal forwarders can also send the machine data collected to a special type of forwarders called heavy forwarders. Unlike universal forwarder, heavy forwarder parse the data before sending them to indexers. Heavy forwarders can also optionally index the data locally. There are other types of Splunk enterprise components such as deployment server, search at deployer, cluster master, and license master. They are typically present in the large scale of the distributed environment. There are other books that cover the full range of Splunk features. However, as the focus of this book is on the search processing language, these components will not be covered in detail. So let's dive into the language next. All right. So since major components of Splunk, they are really important: indexer, forwarder, search head. There are other components of Splunk as mentioned here. You have license master, cluster master, deployment server, and deployer. So as we are talking about majorly SPL language in this program, Splunk search processing language, right? So these components not going to come into picture in this particular course. Okay, so let's start talking about search processing language. Okay, till here, really important for you to understand, to get good grip on the course, right? So please understand these things till here. Then we will start learning about the search processing language. All right, thank you for watching.